All right, we are rolling. So this is Pong Room Radio, brought to you by Pong Room Productions, and we are giving you our movie review segment. And today we are reviewing Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, starring Jake
Jake
Gyllenhaal
Gyllenhaal,
as the lead,
as the
and of
lead.
course there was who was the other actor?
The interpreter is Dar Salim.
Okay, and there were some others, but we don't got to read out the whole cast. The whole movie's basically around
It's
them.
those two.
They did. There was a surprise little character in the end of the movie. If you watch The Boys, it's Highlander, the actor who plays Highlander. You don't recognize him.
Anthony
because-
Starr, I believe
Yeah, I
his name
believe
is.
that's him. So you don't recognize him because he's a blonde and he's got a totally shaved beard. But in this one, he's got his brown hair and a beard, and you kind of gotta. Is that who I think it is? You can totally tell once he starts to speak. He's an underrated actor. But so right out the gate, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. What do you give it?
You know, I'm thinking of my previous reviews, and if I'm going to keep it in the same kind of universe, I gotta say 6.5.
6 point. You are heavy.
I
with
went
the
backwards.
6.5s.
I went backwards with the 6.5 because I was
You were
as
at
I
a
was walking.
7.
We just saw it, so
Yes.
as I was walking out of the theater, and you said 7.
I give it a 7.
I was thinking, okay, 7's reasonable, but I gotta back it up a little bit. Maybe
Okay.
maybe I can be budged into a 7, but I'm gonna say 6.5 right now.
Someone shouldn't have to budge you on your movie review. What do you?
You're right.
6.5.
Look, we just got done seeing it. I'm still processing it.
Okay. Okay.
but I'm gonna stick with 6.5 right this minute.
It's a long movie, 2 hours and 3 minutes. It didn't feel long, but it is long. We're gonna do the spoilers. We're gonna talk about it, just the details.
Because essentially, if you see the preview, it's
get
the movie.
You get the gist of it.
You
yes.
get the gist. Yeah.
It is a extraction movie.
Yes.
Basically, they give away the premise in the trailer. There's some battle in Afghanistan. It goes bad. Jake Gyllenhaal has to then get rescued by the interpreter, and then because he does that, he becomes wanted by the Taliban for helping an American soldier, of course. And not just wanted, but they say in the top 10 most wanted list on the Taliban's most wanted list. So that's a pretty big deal. So then, Jake Gyllenhaal gets home, a couple weeks to recover, and then he's basically says, I have a debt to repay, and we got to go get him. So what did you think of the action?
The action's fun and great. Though using the word fun, because it's a serious subject. However, I gotta say something I remarked to about after we walked out of the theater was that the Taliban, bad guys, were kind of like Star Wars stormtroopers,
Yes.
and that they all just stand right out in the open. They miss 99 of their shots,
Yeah.
So it's very Hollywood in the battle scenes. I mean, for all of the I always appreciate with the I wasn't in the military, but like you can tell that they pay attention to like military tactics and stuff like
Yes.
that. But it's very Hollywood with the way the gunfighting is. It's just like the good guys get every shot, or
Right.
and the bad guys miss every shot.
They should, of course. Jake Gyllenhaal and even the interpreter had some good tactical maneuvers, and then they were just taking out Taliban one after another.
Yeah. And it's exciting and it's fun. Once you give up you suspend disbelief, of course, and you just don't take it too seriously. It's fun. Yeah.
Okay, but the whole time it is a very serious.
It's a very I keep using the word fun. It's a serious subject, but it's exciting. It's exciting.
Here's what I thought. Whenever there's a hostage or situation where they're in a cage or they're locked up or they're on a wagon or the back of a truck, they seem to always give props to that moment in Gladiator when he's his head's hanging off and the ground's moving and he's tripping out because he's injured. They kind of always do that, so they give a little bit of an homage towards that. I don't know if you see that often.
Maybe I don't really. I mean, and who knows? Maybe Gladiator got it from another movie.
Maybe
not a film.
after this, I'll show you, and then you'll be like, "Oh yeah, they do."
I can. I'm thinking about the scene from Gladiator. I saw it a million times.
Times.
Yeah.
I thought there was a funny moment where they were smoking the opium.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get over the pain, and he's just tripping. And
Right,
they're
and
like,
they did
here,
kinda
here
do
you
that.
go. You know what I mean? Like, because that's one of their major exports that they do
Of course.
is the opium and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, the brother was tied into like the Taliban. He was kind of like a business smuggler type, and he kind of knew where his brother was. He had some pull. He had all the bling, the gold watches and such. And in the middle of the movie, they go and he's like, the price is getting too high on his head because he works with the Taliban. And they're not, of course, happy with him. They basically were going to press him for his location. So it's like a race against time.
Race against time.
And of course, right when they pull him out is when they find out where he is, and then it's just gung ho at that
Gung
point.
ho fighting. Well, so it's Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, and so Guy Ritchie obviously is the director. So let's talk about, was there anything unique in the directing style or anything visuals that were original? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to
They
think.
did a lot of shots of. They really beat you home with the fact that they're in like the mountainous environment.
Yeah.
And because they did a lot of zoom outs, and they were just like, here they are, and they did a big zoom out, and like they're in this vastly dry desert valley.
Yeah.
And it's just those guys. They did a lot of those aerial shots where it's like like you kind of don't got nowhere to hide, you know what I mean? Like, and you're also in a valley, and they got the high ground. Let's talk about how the Taliban.
Oh, the high ground. Again, just Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, the Taliban always got the high ground,
and
you know what I mean?
that's supposed to be an advantage, but not in this game, in this Hollywood movie.
Because their shooting is so terrible.
Yeah, they're just terrible shots. The
very beginning battle where they find the explosives and they call it in, I liked all that stuff. Very tactical, and then of course a few guys get shot. There weren't many like executions, big like arms or legs blowing off. Rated R, you know what I mean? They show the impact, but like the impact wounds are very small, very minimum blood. There wasn't a whole ton of blood.
Yeah, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's not trying to be a gory.
Yeah, it wasn't like Saving Private Ryan where there was just blood everywhere. But they tried to keep it
right.
Rated R, it has to be, but at the same time, it's not a gore fest. Guy Ritchie paints his name all over this movie. It's in the title.
It's obnoxious.
It's in the beginning, I believe. It's also, and then it's at the end as well.
Guy Ritchie's.
Yeah, and it's like, we get it.
We get it.
He's making a big stance. Let's talk about how, basically, what I took away from the movie was the price it cost people to really get into America. Like, it's like,
Yikes.
I know. And at the very end, he's on the plane and he's looking at his passport and it says United States of America. It's got his visa, and he's like, but like, he literally went to war and killed people for that visa.
And he's not even given. It shouldn't just be like, okay, you're a full citizen. There you go.
Yeah,
You did
boom.
it.
Now it's a visa. It's
you
not
have to
even-
go. He still has to go through the whatever. Let's not get too
after
into
after he saved the guy's life.
There is some commentary, about the war in Afghanistan and this and that. Yes, there's obviously some themes there, which I don't know if we want to get into. That would become like a political, thing. But
Right.
there are the movie has a point of view. Let's just say that.
Yes. They really beat home how, the pull in which America has. And of course, they did at the very end, the might of the military with the angel of death.
Yeah.
And how it just came by and eradicated a whole bunch of guys on the dam.
Where they say asymmetrical, very.
It was, you know what I mean?
The power dynamic, the advantage, of
having an Air Force and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of they ended the movie with a statement of,
It had,
the real stats about
the stats of the war,
about how America pulled out, and they're still upwards. At the beginning, they said there was like 50,000. They said there was around 98,000 troops and then 50,000 additional interpreters with those troops.
Was it that many interpreters? It was a lot of interpreters.
And then
Let's just say that
a lot of interpreters. And then they said there was around 300 or so
who were killed, and then
still abandoned, there, who were supposed to get the visas.
No, I think it was more. It's like 1,000 or underground or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
we're getting the numbers wrong. But
basically in hiding because now they're all known.
we abandoned them.
They're all known and wanted because the Taliban took over, and now, real life situations, of course, where that was their kind of political statement.
Well, back, I think the biggest thing in the movie is the acting between, the relationship between Jake Gyllenhaal and the
Yeah.
interpreter, Dar Salim, I
Yes,
believe.
the back and forth.
And I think Dar Salim was really good.
He
The
was.
actor, yeah,
He was the
great.
standout.
He was probably the best actor in the bunch. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal was very good too. He's a great actor,
Of
but
course.
but the interpreter was more. He was like, was he the star of the film? No, Jake Gyllenhaal's the star, but you know what I mean. It's
The first half of the movie it goes to Jake Gyllenhaal, and then I believe the first half goes to the interpreter, and then the second half goes to Jake Gyllenhaal.
I think you're right. That's actually that's true.
But really, Jake Gyllenhaal just had more of the action. He didn't really have many lines. When he was telling the commanding officers how he has a debt to pay and he's got like a hook in him, and he basically had I saved your life, you owe me. This is this. I'm calling in my favor. This needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if you saw the trailer, the gist of it. This is the spoiler.
We're not
review.
spoiling anything. Yeah.
Let's get into rewatchability because we're rolling up on 10 minutes.
Got it.
We saw it once in movie theaters. I liked it. I give it a 7 out of 10.
6.5 is not a bad score. It's better than average. If you want to say 5 is average.
It seems kind of bad.
It sounds bad, but it's not bad. No, it's a fine movie. It's well done. However, like we talk about rewatchability, I'm not going to go to the theater and see it again.
Okay.
And if it's on TV, maybe I'll watch it if I'm in the mood. But it's not going to be like, oh, I want to watch it again. I don't get that feeling for it.
It's difficult to be in the mood to watch a war movie, But
I don't know. Saving Private Ryan, whenever that's on,
even that's a little intense.
You have to
watch.
be in the right frame of mind. You're right. Yeah, it's not like, oh, okay, let's sit down with some popcorn.
Such a stark reminder,
Yes.
But I would if some adult was like, hey, what's a good movie to see that's not a kid's movie, of course. What's not PG? What's a good movie out right now? I'm in the movie theater, which I would say go see Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Yeah, as of right now, yes. Unless you're into horror movies, do it.
Yeah, this one was it entirely based off of a true story?
I don't think it was at all.
Because
I'm not sure if it was.
They didn't throw that out there.
They would have thrown it out there. Yeah,
but they did have a lot of pictures at the end.
But I think those were just interpreters. Okay. I think those were soldiers and their interpreters.
So it was a Hollywood story wrapped up in a real life situation, basically.
Dramatizing a real phenomenon, how like interpreters were left behind. Yeah.
We're at 12 minutes. I say we wrap this up. I give it a 7 out of 10. You give it a 6 out of 10.
6.5.
6.5. Rewatchability, what do you give it on a 1 to 10 scale?
1 to 10 scale, I'm 5. Pops in my head, 5.
5. I'll agree with you on that. 5. 5. I would recommend it to a friend. I think go see it in theaters, just because war movies are much more intense in movie theaters. The
movie experience we always recommend going to
louder.
The theater. Yeah.
You really get the feel. There's a good score in this too. It seems like they did the music.
Yeah, I agree.
And
well done movie. Well done.
Well done, but not one to watch a million times.
No.
Action was pretty good. I thought it was going to be more of a drama. But there was a lot of shooting involved, a lot of,
It was very action packed.
So if you think if the trailer undersells it a little bit in terms of action, but it's got action throughout. There's really only one low, and that's when Jake Gyllenhaal gets home. But other than that, it's pretty action packed.
True.
I liked it as a military movie, but not phenomenal.
Agreed.
All right, guys, that's it for The Covenant by Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Don't forget, it's directed by Guy Ritchie.
Do not forget that.
Just remember that. Everybody knows Guy Ritchie.
Right.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks.